Hello and welcome to Going Global. I'm your host, Chung Se-mi. April and May this year have been difficult months for many people around the world. The devastating earthquake in Nepal and deadly shipwrecks in the Mediterranean heighten the migrant crisis. On April 19th, a migrant boat capsized off Libya and up to 900 migrants drowned. But more people attempted the dangerous sea crossing, and in the month of April alone, more than 1,200 drowned in the sea. The frontline countries like Italy, France, and Greece are doing their best in rescue operations. And just like the victims of these crises, there are so many people around the world that need our help and attention. And seeing the world come together to lend a hand, there is still hope for making the world a better and warmer place. And here's our first story on Going Global today. Preserving the Korean language and culture is not an easy thing to do for Koreans living overseas. But in Germany, a special language and cultural camp for Korean teens is held around this time every year. Let's join the students.
The students are introducing their creative patbingsu, a Korean shaved ice dessert. Their Korean speaking skills improve through questions and answers. There's a Korean language camp held for Korean teens living in Germany.
휴게소에서 뭐 먹고 싶으면 어떻게 말하냐, 그렇게 한국에서 살면서 어떻게 대화를 잘하냐, 이런 거잖아요. 그래서 더 재밌고 한국에서 도움이 많이 될 것 같아요.
This 5-day Korean camp first started 21 years ago. This year, the camp drew students from 17 regions across Germany. Trier and Schwaben Korean schools joined the camp for the first time.
제일 중요한 네트워크를 배웠으면 좋겠고요. 여기서 독일어 하는 이 나라에서 한국어를 배우는구나 하는 것을 많이 알고 서로 소통을 할 수 있었으면 좋겠어요.
Students from Kyungin National University of Education in Korea have been participating as teachers for 7 years. The camp not only has Korean language classes, but also Korean cultural classes where the students can even learn K-pop dance. The camp is popular among parents and students alike, and this year's applicants more than doubled the maximum number of 50 students.
자기가 어디에서 왔는지 또 어느 나라 사람인지에 대해서 조금 더 구체적으로 알 수 있는 기회를 갖기를 그렇게 기대하고 있습니다.
The camp has given students good memories of learning their roots during their spring break. It is becoming the foundation of helping young Koreans in Germany understand more about Korea.
Although 5 days is not long, the students seem to be having a wonderful time at the camp. We hope the camp maintains its 21 years of long tradition and continues to grow and develop. Here's our next story. One of the most pressing issues in countries like the United States, Korea, and Japan is job creation. People even say that getting a job is like a 1 in a million chance these days. But it's even harder for people with disabilities. Finding a job is much more difficult for them. But Taiwan has been tackling this problem since 1997 with a policy that helps the disabled get a decent job in society. Let's find out more.
A convenience store in Taipei. Employees are busy arranging the products and greeting customers. But this place is a little different from other convenience stores. Out of its 10 employees, 8 of them are people with disabilities. Wu Xiu-yan, who has an intellectual disability, has been working here for 3 years.
我觉得蛮喜欢的，就是比如说在结账啊、补排货啊、拉排面那些，我都很喜欢做那些工作。这样，未来应该也会在这里做，对。
The store is a sheltered workshop that employs disabled people who are capable of working. There are 42 of these sheltered workshops in Taipei City. And most of them are in the service industry, such as convenience stores, restaurants, and gas stations. They help people with disabilities step outside their homes and live with their neighbors.
我们现在这边小朋友啊，他们每一个人的工作能力都非常的好，当有客人有特别需求的时候，他们都会马上 去帮客人做引导。
The Taiwanese government has been giving jobs to disabled people under the sheltered workshop policy that was implemented in 1997. The sheltered workshops are run by local authorities and receive about $90,000 of annual government support for rent and employment costs. Profits from the sheltered workshops all go towards the disabled.
我们并没有做特别的限制，哪一样的行业才是适合我们身心障碍朋友做，或者说他们有能力来经营起来的这个行业，我们都接受。
There are also 12 educational institutions in Taipei that help disabled people find jobs. People here are taking a nail art class at a cosmetology education association. When they complete the entire 700 hours of the training course, they can get a job at a beauty salon designated by the association. Funds for the training courses are all provided by the government.
那如果就业的部分，我目前呢在小林发廊，台湾有200多家，让他在那边好好的就业，只要他有一技之长。
Through the educational courses, the trainees are able to make new friends and learn how to build their lives by themselves.
我比较属于那种比较不太爱讲话，后来在这个过程里面，我就慢慢的学习怎么跟同学互动，有认识到很多好朋友，未来就是可以有更多创造出自己很好的人生。
A society that helps disabled people live confidently as members of society. The most important thing would be showing them consideration and, above all, an opportunity to work.
One of the most popular tourist destinations in Korea during spring is Jeju Island. And when we think of Jeju, these come to mind: the clear blue waters and female divers who harvest seafood known as haenyeo. And recently in New York, there was an exhibition of Jeju haenyeo by a photographer who wanted to show images of strong Korean mothers. So what were the reactions of the American audiences? Let's find out now.
This is a Henya, a female diver, who just came up to the surface from the deep sea. Her face bears the mark of swimming goggles, as if to prove her long deep sea dive. Photos of these Henya reflect the images of strong Korean mothers.
I really admire that they're so brave because they can die there also, so it's really powerful. And they're older women too, so I feel like they must be really strong.
The Henya exhibition in New York features works by photographer Kim Hyung-sun. Kim became fascinated by the Henya he met on Jeju Island while he was traveling and wanted to share the story with more people.
한 해녀분이 바닷가에서 나오시는데 제 눈하고 마주쳤어요. 그런데 그 모습이 너무나 강하고 인상적이고 굉장히 큰 감동을 줬죠. 그래서 그때 느꼈었던 그 느낌을 그대로 표현하고 사람들에게 이 모습을 알리고 싶었어요.
24 life-size photos of Henya are on display at the exhibition. There are also video materials depicting Henya's underwater work and their diving equipment.
뉴욕 타임즈라든지 월스트리트라든지 유럽에 있는 언론들도 많이 자료 요청을 하고 있어서 저희들이 당초 기대했던 것보다도 훨씬 더 많은 사람들의 주목을 받고 있는 걸로 보여집니다.
The exhibition is more meaningful as the decision for adding Henya to UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage List will be made next year.
유네스코에 등재가 되셔야죠. 예, 등재돼서 전 세계에 우리나라에 이런 어머니, 할머니들이 있다라는 강인한 그런 모습들 사람들이 알았으면 좋겠고요.
More than 20,000 Jeju haenyeo existed up until the 1970s, but now only around 4,000 remain. The exhibition in New York will serve as a window to this fast, disappearing culture.
There is a saying in Korea, the haenyeo work in the next world to feed the children of this world. And I think they deserve to be added to the UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage List. If haenyeo reflects the strong image of Korean women, then what embodies the elegance of Korean women? We can say hanbok, the traditional Korean dress. And they're not made and worn only in Korea now. Over in Turkey, a designer who fell in love with hanbok started making her own designs and even holds a hanbok fashion show across Turkey. Let's meet Esma, the only hanbok designer in Turkey.
A model walks down the stage holding her flowing dress. The white skirt made of tulle fabric and the yellow silk chogori add a mysterious aura. Made in Turkish fabric, they are traditional Korean dresses or hanbok shown off at this fashion show.
It was the first time and it was very colorful. I liked it. Seeing people wear this kind of clothes was very exciting for me.
The organizer of this hanbok fashion show is Turkish designer Esma. Her hanbok show first started 3 years ago in Ankara and continued in major Turkish cities like Istanbul and Samsun. This is now her 5th show.
I always want to wear Korean traditional dress hanbok. It's very beautiful.
Esma is a kindergarten teacher, but she was mesmerized by hanbok she saw in the Korean period drama Heshin 8 years ago. For 3 years, she has been learning how to make hanbok through the internet. She's designed about 50 hanboks so far. Her designs are very popular among the local people. As soon as a new design is updated online, it begins to sell in no time.
Daha sonra bunları tasarladıktan sonra bunların hani en büyük hayalim de Kore'de bir defile yapmak, hani insanlara göstermek. Türk bir tasarımcının hanboklu ve Türk karışımı bir şey.
It was Esma's love for Korea that guided her to hanbok. Now she is a special civil diplomat who introduces the beauty of hanbok to the Turkish people.
And this time, let's go over to the city of Auckland in New Zealand. At a 5-star luxury hotel in Auckland, a female pastry chef from Korea is making sweet desserts every day for the hotel's guests. Meet Anita Chung Su-jung, a talented young pastry chef under the spotlight.
This is a 5-star hotel in downtown Auckland. The kitchen is busier than usual, preparing for a special banquet. The dessert of the day is candy apples. After you cover the apples with a thin sugar coating and decorate the top of each apple with a delicate sugar leaf, the dessert is complete. These colorful, glossy candy apples are ready to be served to 100 guests.
디저트는 메인이랑 다르기 때문에 이제 마지막에 서프라이즈를 줘야 된다고 생각을 해요. 그래서 맛은 물론이고 색깔, 데코레이트를 어떻게 했는지 그리고 촉감이 가장 중요하다고 생각을 해서.
Chung is the only Korean working as a pastry chef at this hotel. With just 3 years of experience, she is just a rookie in the world of pastry. She studied nursing in college for 2 years, but changed her career path to become a pâtissier. One of the reasons was her long dream of studying art. For Chung, making desserts is just like creating an artwork, fusing artistry and imagination.
Is the detailed work for the pastry is the final touch. So she's good at all those final touch that we need for the dessert to make it magic.
Chung's talent began drawing people's attention in August last year when she participated in the annual New Zealand Culinary Fair. It's the largest competition between culinary professionals coming from all parts of the country. But as a newcomer to the competition, Chung presented her brownies and cakes and won the Honorable Pastry Chef of the Year award. Since then, her family, who first had doubts about Chung's new career as a pastry chef, have given their full support.
수정이 같은 경우는 요리 경력이 그렇게 많지 않았잖아요. 그래서 뭐 우승은 어렵겠군이라고 생각을 했는데 우승을 해서 이제 집에서도 다들 좋아하시고 되게 개인적으로도 많이 기뻤습니다.
After coming home from a hard day of work, Chung still looks into cookbooks. In the world of desserts, learning seems to be endless. One of Chung's wishes is to hone her skills and make a special treat for her mother in Korea.
생일 케이크는 제가 옆에서 계속 없으니까 못 챙겨드리잖아요. 그래서 한번 이쁘게 챙겨드리고 싶어요.
from breakfast pastries to cakes for special events. It's always a busy day of work at the hotel. But every day is a day closer to her dream of opening her own store.
사람들이 우리 이런 디저트를 먹을까? 라고 했었을 때 바로 머리에 뜨는 생각이 그럼 아니타가 만든 디저트를 먹으러 갈까? 라고 딱 뜰 수 있는 그런 독특한 디저트를 만드는 셰프가 되고 싶어요.
A pastry chef in her 20s in love with sweet desserts. Chef Chung Su-jung is happy to be able to do what she loves, and today she continues to bake her dream desserts.
Recently in Los Angeles, a man built a mini house for a homeless woman. He used discarded materials to build the house, and it took him 5 days to complete it. What a beautiful story of helping other people in need. I hope there are more people like this man in LA who can light up the world with small virtues. Going Global will be back next week with more fascinating and exciting stories. Thank you for watching.